All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Who's Who podcast. My name is Robinson Galvez. I'm your host, professional fighter, and content creator. On the Who's Who podcast, we talk about whatever the hell we feel like. And today's guest is Shir Cohen. Yeah, so I'm excited to have Shir because she's coming off of a big tournament here in Thailand, and it's got a really interesting story, and I'm excited to get to it and pick your brain a little bit. Yeah, so you're coming off this big tournament, and what is the name of it? What was it called? The tournament?
Tawasadu tournament.
Tawasadu, okay.
I hope I say it very well.
Tawasadu.
But I think it's easier to say the Four Champions.
Champions. Okay.
Four Champions tournament.
Is that what it was actually called?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they only put 4 weight division on the tournament, and so in the end it's 4 champions.
Yes.
Yes.
I
So. I fought 53 kilogram, 53. Which usually I don't fight 53.
Is that big or small for you?
Bigger.
Oh yeah.
Bigger for me. Yes. So usually I fight actually 52, but only in kickboxing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's everything is different. The weight is really important in Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah. You're talking about the weight cuts and everything?
The weight class is very important because in kickboxing you don't have the clinch.
That's true.
So the weight, if you notice that if you clinch with someone in bigger than you, the weight is very important.
Yeah.
It can be very massive.
Yeah.
Very harder to deal with it.
Yeah, I never actually thought about that. Actually, that's a really good point. But the reason I want to talk about this tournament is because there's a couple of fun things that are happening here.
Yeah.
Is you've only had 4 fights in Thailand, if I'm correct, yeah?
Including tournament.
Including the tournament, yeah. Only 4 fights in Thailand.
And
so
3 of them was the tournament.
Yeah. So is that only 4 Muay Thai fights, period?
Yeah.
So, and how many kickboxing fights do you have?
Kickboxing fight. Well, I can't even remember because I had a lot of kickboxing fights, but it's only amateur kickboxing fights.
Yeah, but more than how many fights do you think?
I think more than 50.
Dang. All right. Okay. 50. So that's okay.
Yeah.
That's not that weird when I see you fight then, because you're you're good. You piece it together really well.
Thank you.
Yeah. I can really see the K1 style in your style. It's funny to me that you've only had 4 Muay Thai fights and you're already in such a prestigious tournament. It's a big deal to be in tournaments in Thailand because they take some time to do the selection, and belts are not very common in Thailand. So to get a belt like that is it's a big accomplishment. So for you, heading into the finals, I want to talk about your injury. And this is not I was injured so I didn't win. It's just to talk about, because this is a very common thing that happens in our sport, right? So a lot of people fight injured. I've done it. Many people do it. And I don't think we're not the first, we're not the last of people to fight injured. So I want to talk about what your injury was and how training was throughout that. How long did you have this injury too?
All right. Oh, well, I don't want to sound like I'm a crybaby or something.
No, that's not.
So I'm not gonna be like, I had this and this and this and this.
Right.
Because I think every fighter has a lot of small injuries during the fight camp.
Right.
So we can count that.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's serious things that happens during the way.
Yeah.
And so.
So what was the big one?
Yeah,
I know there's small things here and there that every fighter has. So what was the big one?
I have some big ones.
Don't
worry. First of all, I remember after I think my semifinal, I started lifting a little bit weight. After every fight you have a week break from kicking pads, sparring. So it's a really good opportunity to focus on weight, conditioning training, strength.
So this is the week after the fight. You get a break. They give you a break.
Yeah, and it also depends of how you feel, how your body after the fight. So I remember after semifinal, I took 1 week to do a little bit of strength, and I went too far with it. And sometimes it happens to me. For the good and for the bad, that I don't have limits. And I can push so hard and so far that I don't know when to stop. which again can be good things sometimes, but bad things sometimes.
Yeah.
So I went too far with the weightlifting. I felt, oh, okay, I'm strong. I can do it. I want to be stronger, you know?
Yeah.
And I did, I think deadlift was the thing that hurted me.
Yeah.
And then I carried neck and back pain.
Oh.
Yeah, until now.
And how many weeks before the finals was this?
It was about 7 weeks before.
Okay.
7 weeks.
So did you
before.
fight 2 fights with this injury?
2 fights with this injury.
Oh, so it wasn't
no,
just.
Wait, it was. Yeah, I think 2 fights.
Yeah.
And
dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, and
so you fought half this tournament injured.
Yeah.
Crazy. And then again, not like, oh, my knuckles bruised, or like, oh, I have a bump on my shin. This is like a serious injury. And what was the injury? What is it that's torn in?
Torn in my neck muscle and my back, my upper back muscle.
It's torn.
It's torn. It's still torn.
Yeah. Still haven't dealt with that.
And I think the hardest part, something that was harder than the torn muscle, because when you have something physically and it's for a long time, like you injured for a long time, you somehow get used to it.
Yes.
You learn how to train with it. You learn how to fight with it. You train your mind to kind of ignore it, right? So I think what was harder for me that I got sick, I got COVID.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that. Yeah. The trainers are making fun of you like a lot. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Remember, see someone like, oh, COVID, don't get close to her. COVID. Yeah. It's a very common thing here. The jokes.
Oh yeah. I think there was a time that a lot of people in the gym was getting COVID.
Yeah.
I think 7 people got COVID.
Yeah.
And I remember being stuck in my room for almost 1 week and a half, almost 2 weeks maybe.
Yeah.
And that was during the preparation, just I think a couple of weeks before the final. And you're so stressed because, oh my God, I'm gonna get out of shape now. My body is gonna be so weak, and the breathing was so bad, and everything was aching and painful.
And this was before the final fight of the tournament.
Before the hardest fight, like
damn.
I knew that I fight a very strong girl, and I cannot be just 70% of myself.
Right.
I have to be 100% good and healthy, because when you fight someone bigger and taller, I knew she was gonna be taller. You have to push hard. You cannot be in distance. You have to be in your best shape.
Yes. Yeah.
And just a couple weeks before I get COVID, I remember coming back to training after I got negative in a COVID test. Yeah. But my body was still so weak. And I remember going for a run, like my first run after COVID. Yeah. And I felt, oh my God, I can't breathe. My lungs were done.
Yeah, dang.
Can't breathe, but yeah, I remember taking it slowly, and just, you don't have much to do. You can't just get better in 1 day, 2 days. You just have to stay positive. I think that's the only option.
Yeah.
You have, when you're injured and you're not 100%, you just have to stay positive.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to be patient, right? You really have to exercise the patience, because you can't control. You just have to give your body the time to heal.
Yeah. And sometimes you don't have that time.
Yeah.
So you have to tell your mind, okay, it is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
And you just have to go for it and let God know and do the works, and
Yeah, no, and the thing is, I wanted to talk about the tournament and the injury, because again, this is not uncommon. And in our sport, they say it's the game of inches, right? So you can miss by just a little bit, just like it could be like that much can make a big difference in a fight, whether a punch misses or lands, right?
Yeah.
So there's, at the highest level, which you're competing at a very high level here in Thailand. You're not just like a walk, like doing like local fights. Like, this is at Lumpini Stadium. It's, there's a big purse, there's a title involved, so it's a high level that you're competing at. And at this level, like you're saying, weight makes a big difference. I learned that in my last fight. Weight makes a big difference,
Yeah.
So when you're going to the elite level, like an elite level of Muay Thai and striking, weight is going to play a big role, right? There's going to be like injury is going to play a big role. The mental game is going to play a big role, because like sometimes people lose that should have won the fight. Like on paper, should have won the fight. You know, it's like, oh, this stronger, kicks are better, punches are better, more well-rounded, whatever. But the fighter with that has less skill will sometimes win because their mental game is better. Or maybe they walked in with less injuries than the other person, right?
Yeah.
So this isn't uncommon to fight with these injuries. It's just unfortunate
Yeah.
for the big majority of this tournament you had these injuries. And I thought there was something off about your style, because I had watched your fights. I think the Fairtex fight before the tournament, and I was like, oh my gosh, dude, like a female Mike Tyson or like a Decker. This is like, you got like that, like, oh, like Dutch style K1. The low kick was crazy. You got crazy power in your punches. I'm like, dang, this is crazy. Like you. Like,
Yeah.
I like, dang, you're good, you know. And I say this, I'm gonna keep saying this. I have said this before. I don't judge people by their pad work, because a lot of people in the gym, they look good, and they see them in the ring, and I'm like, what happened, you know? But you look good on pads. You know, you look strong. You work really hard. You're one of the like, often one of the first people in, one of the last people out of the gym. And I'm like, you know, I've made jokes about it to you before. I'm like, what are you doing here, dude? Right?
Go home.
Yeah, go home. Like, you're here early, you're here late. Like, what the heck? And those are times like I'm not even training. I'm like, how are you pushing this pace? Like, you work hard, you do everything right, and then all that, and still a loss can come, right? So no one is immune to these losses. We're all human. Well, we have the injuries. Sometimes maybe nerves get to you. Sometimes life happens and there's something that can be distracting to you. So to many fighters, this isn't new, right? But a lot of people that are listening aren't fighters and aren't familiar with the struggles. Like, there was a kid that I think my girlfriend went on a Reddit forum, and she was telling me how this 18-year-old kid was like, hey, I'm 18. I want to be a pro fighter, but I can't afford to go to the gym. I can only go once a week. And I live with my parents. So how do I become a pro fighter only working out from home? And it's like, no, that doesn't you know, so there's people in the world that think that this can happen, when in reality, it's like, you're training, what is it, like 4 to 8, maybe sometimes hours a day.
Yeah.
Weight training, running like 6 to 8 miles, like pretty much every day, every other day.
Yeah.
And then training in the morning for 2-3 hours, afternoon 2-3 hours, and then you somehow get strength and conditioning in. You weight train, you do all this, and there's still some things that like could stop you from getting the win, right? And I'm not saying this as that like oh, you should have won. It's like, no, these things happen. I understand.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I
sure.
understand. I understand what these injuries are like. I understand that this career is difficult, you know,
Yeah.
and it's not always going to be the most ideal. And I thought you were going to destroy this girl. I really thought you were like going to, I was like, boom, I was like, something is off. So when I heard about your injury, I was like, oh, that's it, you know? Yeah, it's just live to fight another day, you know? You'll be back, and I'm excited to see your next one.
I think that, what you're saying is very, very true.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes I even myself forget it, because when you're into the fight and you're really in it, you forget how many struggles you had before.
Yes.
And when you expect from yourself to win in any cost, you forget that sometimes it can happen. And I really looking forward to win this fight. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to win. I want to win. I will give my everything. And I did give my everything. But sometimes your everything is not enough when you're injured, or I think most of it when you're injured. Because I know for sure that, well, I don't want to say that if I wasn't injured, I would win, because she was very good. You know, she was, I think, she was better than me, so she would win anyway. But I don't think that,
but you can go ahead and think that. I don't think that, but you can go ahead and think that.
I think she's really good.
She was an amazing fighter. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I did think you were just gonna walk right over her. I didn't. I was like, this girl has no chance.
Nice of you. That's so nice. Thank you for saying that. I do believe, I don't know about the win, but I do believe that if I wasn't injured, my kicks was much harder, and my punches were much better.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I can guarantee that my fighting was better. But sometimes when you're a fighter and you're all in, you forget it, and then you judge yourself after losing. You're like, what happened to me? I wasn't good. I was weak. I wasn't strong enough. My kicks were weak, and then it takes you like a couple of days, maybe weeks, to understand that you're human and you weren't on your like 100%.
Right. Yeah. I think what makes a good fighter is coming back from a loss. Like I've said this before, is like the undefeated thing doesn't really like. I'm not that big of a like undefeated. Wow. Like I need to see the resume.
Yeah.
If you're undefeated, what's your resume like? Like there's that Habib Nurmagomedov, right? There's that argument. It's like the combined record of his opponents, and then the combined record of like people who are considered like the greatest of all time, like John Jones, or like just I forgot who else, George St. Pierre. So these names are like their resume. They have losses, but their resume is like incredible. Versus Habib, I think he was like, I could totally be wrong, but it's something like he was like his 14th fight was against someone who was their first fight. You know, so it's like, so there's like a padded record. I was like, okay, it was impressive. Don't get me wrong, 30-0, that's not seen in MMA very well. Or the 50-0 Floyd Mayweather, like that's again impressive. He has a decent resume.
Yeah.
Decent. That's a really good resume. But like
that's
I would,
amazing.
I would have loved to see him fight Pacquiao sooner. You know, there's some fights like the undefeated thing. Like I'm like, did you fight everybody every time? Like in Thailand, you've seen this. There's guys that have like that fight like 8 times. There is no like, oh, I won 1, you won 1, or I won 2. Now we're not fighting anymore. It's like, no, the people want to see it. We're gonna give the people what they want.
Yeah.
Right. So there's not a lot of like undefeated people in Thailand because they fight the best. Like the people get what they want here. Like in boxing, starting to happen a little bit in MMA. We don't get the fights that we want. But in Muay Thai, you look in like the top fighters, they all fought each other.
They fight each other.
Yeah, like
no excuses. Like
yeah. Rotang, he's one of the biggest stars in one.
Yeah.
How many losses does that guy have? And again, it's not like I'm not judging him by his losses, but just to show everyone how such a dominant fighter can lose. It's like, and he came back from those losses, not once, not twice, but you know, he keeps doing it. So every time you lose, you build that foundation. You're like, all right, I'm going to figure out a way to avoid that and then never do that again.
Yeah.
Right? Or like figure out a way to control, oh, if it happens again, I'm going to be able to control my mind a little bit better. Yeah. And it's like, it's something very powerful, I think, that's overlooked by people who are not in the sport. Right? Like, oh, you lost, like whatever. I'll get comments like that. Oh, you lost, whatever. I'm like, dude, like,
people don't really.
Yeah, they're like, you know, oh, I got a cramp in my finger typing this comment. You know?
Yeah.
No, but it's funny. I want to, again, congratulations for getting that far in a tournament, even with an injury. You did amazing. Like, I'm looking forward to your next fight.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to you coming back and getting the next fight and getting that injury fixed more than anything, so you can perform at like we all know you can.
Perform
you know?
better,
yeah. So we talked about. I have some questions written down, so I don't get too far off track here. So how old are you?
22.
22, and you've been training. And you've been training for how long?
Been training for about 7 years.
7 years, and you have more than 50 fights.
Kickboxing fights, and now 4 Muay Thai fights.
4 Muay Thai fights. Yeah, so that's let's say about 50 fights in the span of 7 years. What is, because you're from Israel?
Yeah.
What is the Muay Thai? What is the fight scene like over there? It's not. You said you fight more K1. So, is it K1 and MMA? I see a lot of like. From what I see on social media, there's a lot of traditional martial arts. I see like karate sometimes.
In Israel?
Israel, yeah. So what's the martial arts scene like there?
So you mean what most popular?
What most popular,
Yeah, so of course we have the Israeli fighting Krav Maga. If you ever heard about it.
Yeah.
It's basically it's for fighting, you know, people for self-defense in the street. We use it mostly in army or in the secret service. So you know, Israel have a lot of I don't know how to say it. I don't know if it will sound good what I say.
That's all good.
Enemies.
It has a lot of enemies.
I think maybe it will sound bad. So
hey, we're here for it.
I don't want to sound like that. I don't want to put like a political thing, so people won't be
okay.
mad at me.
I mean, you can say that about any country, though, right? Like, I come from
Any
America;
country,
they have a lot of enemies. It's like, obviously,
and I think like Israel depends of the history of Israel. We have the need to defend ourselves anyway, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like our fighting most of it, but. What's now very popular in Israel is the kickboxing, amateur kickboxing. We had a really big national team and going to championships everywhere in the world, Europe. Yeah, so I actually been in kickboxing since I'm 16.
16. Yeah.
16. And my peak was winning the World Games in USA. If you heard about it,
I heard. But I thought it was only Muay Thai.
No, they have like a lot of kind of sports in the World Games.
Okay.
It's kind of Olympics for the non-Olympic sport. So they combine a lot of styles.
Okay.
It can be kickboxing. It can be how do you call it?
Muay Thai,
no,
K1, Taekwondo.
Not only fighting, just
every other sports. Yeah, okay.
It's really like Olympics for non-Olympic sports.
Do you remember any of the other sports that were being played
in the
World Games?
Acrobatics.
Okay. It's like gymnastics and stuff like that.
Yeah, stuff like this.
Oh, okay.
I think no skating. I don't remember.
Yeah, but I understand. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, so it's kind of like Olympically recognized games, but it's not the Olympics, right? But hey, maybe the next one you go to the Olympics, you know?
Oh, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be fun. So there's the K1 is very popular.
K1 is very popular,
right? The K1 style, which is for people who don't know, K1 is punches, kicks, and you can clinch up for one knee, and then you have to let go.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, I fought this rule style, and the promoters, the reason for wanting to do this rule style was they say it's more action because there's no clinch.
That's right.
So they're like, oh, more action, more pace. So you do see it's literally way more boxing because you can be inside and box inside in the body and lean and not being stopped in the clinch or get an elbow or like go down. I mean, you can still get a knee, but it's not as powerful, I would say, without the hand positioning. But yeah, there's a lot more boxing aspect to it. You see a lot more bouncy footwork, which you have, you know? And then I would say a lot of low kicks. I say the emphasis is on the hands, right? So it's mainly hands, powerful hands. I mean, of course, everyone has their own style, but I would say as a stereotype, right? So power punches, low kicks, like a Muay Mat for Muay Thai people, Muay Mat kind of style, right? And it's very entertaining to watch. Like, and again, you're a very good ambassador of it because when I saw you fight, I'm like, yep, that's
K1.
K1 for
K1
sure.
style,
Yeah. So I want to ask you, is there competition? Is there competitions for Krav Maga, or is that just a martial art that is practiced a lot in Israel?
I don't think there's a competition for Krav Maga because it's something that should be used in like
self-defense. Yeah.
Self-defense. So you cannot do this in competitions, like a lot of punches or kick into the crotch, right?
Yeah.
And that's something you cannot like do in competitions. So it's basically training a lot in army bases and
Gotcha. Yeah, all right, because you're saying it's very popular, obviously, and would you say the reason it's popular? Because from what I've heard, in Israel you have a military service that you have to like. Does every citizen has to do it, or how does that work?
Yeah, everyone has to do it, and like we are a very small country, and our army, based on the history, is very important to us because we don't have our country for a long time, and we need to defend it, and everyone has to do it, either girls, men. So I did it as well. When you turn 18, you have to go to the army. Girls at least 2 years and men at least 3 years, and then you can choose to stay, which of course you get paid, like it's kind of job, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to do it. I remember that when I turned 18, I finished high school, and then I got drafted to the army, and I still was in the kickboxing.
Okay, I was gonna
Yeah,
ask.
I was still an athlete.
Mhm.
Back at that time I was Israeli champion in kickboxing.
Oh, nice.
And fighting so many championships around Europe. So
Yeah.
yeah, I remember taking a break of 2 months for the army training.
Mhm.
And after I finished the army training, I just did daily job,
Mhm.
going to the base, doing some administration stuff,
Okay.
and come back training.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's not like that for everyone. They did consider my fighting career, so they let me do it like as a job
Okay.
and go back training.
Yeah.
I can say that my big brother, he got drafted to the army, and he was a boxer. Sorry, he was a boxer as well.
Kickboxing or boxing?
Boxer.
Boxing. Traditional.
Yeah, only boxer. And when he got drafted to the army, he has to stop because they wanted him to serve full time in the army and fighting. If it was necessary, he would go to fight or training. So he has to stop the boxing career. But I think he also wanted
To stop?
to go to the army.
Oh, gotcha. Got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So he was something very different than me. I just
Yeah.
go every day,
Yeah.
a few hours, and go training,
Gotcha.
go home. Yeah.
Interesting. And I think that's probably the reason why Krav Maga is so widespread in your country, is because everyone goes to the military and everyone learns it in the
Everyone
military.
has to learn it.
Yeah.
Even me, I went when you have that period of training, when you just get drift, you learn it.
Yeah.
Even on the basic, like just the basic, but you have to learn it.
Yes. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. That's something that's, to me, the only thing I've heard about Israel is just like it's very bad. Like the not like terrible. Like, it's not bad, but I know there's like conflicts. I know there's like conflicts around Israel, and this is just because the media. This is what the media covers for us in America. So it's not like I'm not going like, oh, hey, you're doing something bad. It's like this is what I hear, right? I know it's an area that's a lot of conflict. I had a soccer coach that did his Israeli service, and I remember like this is the like really fun guy. Very, very funny, very just like orchestrated. And then this is like a couple of the guys that I was hanging out with. Like we played soccer, right? So, and then they made a joke about Israel, and he got, I was like, whoa. And it's just the pride. He's like, oh no, there's. He's like, I was like, oh man, this is a very prideful people, and like, and what they protect, and like the country, And it's not like, again, it was. The joke was totally like uncalled for. They're like high school boys that are just like, all right, let's see how much we can get away with, right? But I remember he goes from like, hey man, like, what are you guys doing? Like, it's not
I can relate,
right? Yeah. So it's I think there's a lot of that we don't understand on our side of the world. Yeah.
I think the media is. I'm sure that I know it. I see it even here coming to Thailand. First time that I see how the media is full of fake news.
Yeah, Thailand.
Oh my God, seriously.
Thailand, for sure.
I was sitting in some cafe a few weeks ago, and suddenly I see the news on TV, and I see the title is some kind of Israeli soldier killed Palestinian boy, something like this. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. No.
What the fuck? Like, people don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
People in Israel have to defend themselves because we get attacked by many countries around us. And if we don't attack back, we're just gonna get destroyed.
Yeah.
We have to defend ourselves. It's like you're going on the street and someone start beating you up.
Yeah.
What, are you gonna just sit there and let him beat you up?
Right.
No, you have to defend yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, the media is full of fake news.
Yeah.
And
it's interesting in that area too, because like many people feel a connection to one area, right? So it's like so it's just I don't have a solution for it. I'm not like, oh, this is it, but I'm like, I don't understand, like everything that's going on makes sense to me because everyone feels connection to this land. Everyone feels
Yeah.
like, and everyone wants to own it. And
No, for sure. And I
so
also think like that it's not like the people from each side, Israel or Palestine or Iran, I don't know, everyone around. I think there's a lot of people who just want to be in peace with each other. Like I wouldn't want to fight anyone.
right,
And same, I'm sure that it's the same in the other sides.
right,
And yeah, I'm sure that a lot of people just want a peace and
yeah,
solution and to live together.
right,
But I think a lot of it is like governments make
yeah, yeah, yeah,
issues,
yeah.
and yeah.
No, I totally get that. I mean, there's I think that's with everywhere. It's like I think that people have pride in where people come from, right? It's like
Yeah.
I'm like, but except for in America,
Uh,
you know. But like you think about patriotic Americans, and I think we have the same image in our head, right? America, and with a Coors Light and like a lifted truck, right? So
I didn't think about it, but you said it.
Yeah, hey, maybe anyone watching definitely I think got the same patriotic American,
Yeah.
like America kind of person, right? But what I noticed when I started traveling is everyone has some pride in where they come from.
Yeah.
Like Italian people, yeah, I'm from Italy. I love like they'll like it's funny, like the stereotype is kind of true. Like they'll tell you about pizza, they'll tell you about your country, they'll tell you about their coffee and whatever.
Yeah.
Same with like Spain, like and UK. Like people are very Irish, whatever, right? That
Yeah.
they want to be like, yeah, no, I am, and it's like our government sucks, but man, I'm proud to be where I'm from, right? And I think that's something like in America is definitely not. It's just like we hate our country, we hate everything, right? But like in a place where there's so much conflict, everyone I think has a sense of like, man, this is who I am, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure the people, if they had it their way, would choose peace. Hey, let's just share. It's not it's not that serious, but it's the people that have like a power grab that kind of get that, like a power, like oh I need this, I need that. It's like that kind of hungry for power that will go and be like cause the problems. And then you got the biggest guys that like have like a ego problem that like are fighting each other. And it's like the people suffer as a consequence. It's not their fault.
Yeah.
So yeah, I understand that, and I understand like the stereotypes. Like for me, I'm Mexican, and I tell people I'm Mexican, they're like, oh, cocaine. Like in Thailand, like oh, cocaine.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah. Like
I think when you say Mexico, I think boxing. I don't know why. I think Mexican boxing is my favorite kind of style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's my favorite style to watch too, but I'm biased, But yeah. So I hear like sometimes like when I talk to people like not in Thailand, like European people or something, they have a different image. But the first thing like in Thailand, they're like, oh, cocaine, like oh yeah, oh you're a mafia boss, and I'm just like, there is a stereotype of people that think like, oh, Mexico, that's very dangerous, huh? Like where are you from? I'm like, it's actually not, but I mean it is. I mean there's areas, right? But like I understand there being this like kind of propaganda or something being painted about your country that isn't true.
It isn't true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember coming here and telling people that I'm from Israel, and suddenly they're like, oh, Israel, you same like you did. Yeah. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
It's not like that.
All I've heard is the military. That's like literally all I know.
You have you have to train in how do you call it, M16?
M16, yeah.
But just for the training, and that's it. Like if you're not a fighter in the army, you probably won't hold a gun ever again. People think that if you're from Israel, you're going to kill people and it's not like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened when the media is full of fake news.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because like I think we're starting to see a lot more people be aware to like, like what the media does and what it is. It's never going to be perfect, right? Because it's been so standing. But I mean, there's a plenty of independent media sources now that can give you like fact check stuff or. I mean, I think we were starting to see like a little bit of a shift. It's like, hey, is it really this extreme? And then that's why it's fun for me to talk to people that actually come from areas like this, because like I was talking to, we had Ellis Barboza on the last episode, and on my side of the world, Muslim is like, oh no, like Muslims are terrorists, Muslims are this, right? And I didn't know what Muslim entailed. Like over here, I feel like I've met so many more Muslims. It's like a normal thing. I've met so many Muslim people, and I feel like ignorant because I'm like, okay, let me understand, right? Let me understand what's going on. What is a religion? What does it entail? And he
Yeah.
broke it down very nice. That's why like you coming from Israel and you talking like, hey, like it's not what it's painted to be. It's interesting for me to be like, oh, okay, like it shifts my perspective a little bit,
Yeah.
and it just makes me understand the world a little bit better because I feel like people to people connections are where the people to people connections are where the real like connection and information
Yeah.
really gets like passed down, right? Because I can't claim to know something if I haven't been there, but you
That's
who've
right.
been there and you've experienced it can break it down a little better and be like, hey, like here, let me tell you what's right, let me tell you what's wrong.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's like from Mexico again. I'm going to use that as an example because cocaine and guns, like same thing. Like it's like a drug war. I'm like, there's areas for sure, but Mexico is very big.
Yeah.
Like where I
It is
live, there's
areas.
like no like I live in the jungle. There is no drug cartels.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
it's like we have our own set of issues. Like I come from the poor state or whatever, and this is like it's not developed, but it's not like drug kingpin and like oh like they're slaughtering people like whatever like that you see
Yeah.
like in media, which is like it's just meant to like sell, right? Like everything they just want clicks, they want like people to view because they get paid by the viewer or whatever,
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
So yeah, no, thanks for breaking that down because I mean like again we don't know anything on that side of the world.
Yeah,
We're
we
gonna
don't
get to, what
know.
we're told is all we know. So what is life like in Israel outside of like once you finish military service? Do you live a relatively normal life?
Once you finish army, it's basically depends on you,
Hmm.
like what you choose to do. You
Yeah.
want to go to study, university, you go
Hmm.
to work.
Oh, I have a
Uh,
good question before you keep going. How
right.
big? What's the population in Israel? Because you say it's
What's
small,
population?
so how many people live in
Oh,
Israel? Because you
oof.
say it's small, but to me, I don't know what small is right now.
Yeah. Well, like population, it's pretty small, like compared to Thailand or
Yeah,
I'm sure that Mexico.
yeah.
It's pretty small. I'm not sure how many. Oh my God, I think I feel ashamed that I don't know how
Let's
many
look it up. Let's
people.
look it up because I feel like
Yeah,
that'd be
people in Israel don't hate me right now. Okay.
yeah. Israel population 9.3 million.
Yeah, it's
Like
not that
9.4
big.
million. You know what's funny? I think we got about I live in San Francisco Bay Area ish. I think we got like 10,000 people just in that little
Oh my
like
God.
10 million people,
Yeah,
10 million people I think in that just that Bay Area.
it's
So yeah, it
amazing.
is
So
small.
yeah, Israel it is small,
Hmm.
but uh, it's small, but you have everything inside it. Like
Hmm.
I mean, in the nature
Hmm.
level, you have desert, you have snow, you have wood, jungles,
Oh, cool.
you have everything. You have towns, you
Mm.
have village. It's like combination of everything in small place,
Uh,
and I think that this is why also a lot of people come to holidays in Israel
mm.
for vacations because it is very beautiful and it's not that intense as people think.
Mm.
It's very quiet.
Yeah.
And as you said, it just some specific areas that have a little bit tense.
Yeah.
But Israel, where I come from, it's really small, very small and poor town
Mm.
in the north.
Hmm.
Very poor, cheap, but it's very quiet
Yeah.
and beautiful.
I
Yeah.
think I can relate to that. I grew up in a small town too.
Yeah.
Like for me, like in America, like the symbol of a similar, like a decent sized town is like Walmart. Like if they have it, it's big.
Yeah.
So for me, I lived on the coast, which like by the beach, but it's surrounded by forests, and you have to go through like twisty roads
Mm.
to get there. And it's like the nearest Walmart is an hour and a half away. So how was growing up for you? Were you playing a lot of sports? Were you good in school?
So I always looked and heard stories about how people go to ballet or
Mm.
I don't know, chess
Yeah,
or
yeah.
anything, and it wasn't normal for me to go to something like that.
I see.
So yeah, but I did went for running
Yeah.
as I started growing up as a teenager. I remember before going to the kickboxing classes, I started to go just running alone, me in my neighborhood.
Mm.
With music, yeah, because yeah, I come from a family that couldn't afford all these after school activities. So as a kid, I only watched other kids going.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
because of this, did you focus on your studies a lot? Was that something that was pushed on you to like get good grades and go to
No.
university? No, they didn't
I
care.
couldn't focus on studying that much because I think I have ADHD, so
I have, yeah.
I couldn't focus in classes.
Yeah.
And yeah, my grades they were okay, not too high.
Yeah.
Yeah, it always was so difficult for me to focus in big classes. I remember when the teacher was talking, I just painting in my notebook,
Yeah.
and she just talking and talking, and I'm just painting. She's asking me a question, and I was like, "Oh, what?
Yeah.
Were you talking to me?"
Yeah. I know.
Yeah,
I have
I was
ADHD
one
too.
of
Yeah.
that kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same here. And the thing was, I think I don't know if you can relate, but for me, school wasn't actually difficult. I just didn't want to pay attention. Like I was like, yeah, I know what you're talking. Like I would get tests and I would pass with like A's and B's, 9 or 10. I don't know how you
Yeah.
score them. And they were like, how do you get like good grades and you don't do your homework? You know, I don't want to do my homework.
Yeah.
You know, but the school part wasn't actually super difficult. Focusing was like sitting in, like you're saying, sitting down still, sitting down,
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
Definitely. And like for me, I have a hard time keeping conversation go. This is a fun project because I have to focus on it. I have a hard time keeping the conversation going and like where it started. I'll just like run
I just
around
want
in
to let you know
circles.
that right now I'm very focusing on keeping the conversation. It is a training for me right now, okay?
ADHD, yeah, I know, I
Yeah,
understand.
but just because it's just me and you, so it's easier. But if
Yeah.
it was like a bigger group, I
Yeah.
couldn't. Oh my god, forget it.
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with you, so you're saying you grew up pretty humble beginnings, right?
Humble beginning, poor family, and
Yeah. Yeah.
not shy to say
Yeah.
that. I actually very proud about coming from poor family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it explains why you're such a good fighter, right? Like they always say, you need something to you need something that's like a driving factor. I
You
forgot.
need something to
I'm
fight
butchering.
for. I don't know
Yeah.
if like that's the what you wanted to say, but I think if you had something something to fight for much more than just, oh, I want to win, I want to be good, I want to be the best, I want to earn money. I mean, yeah, but if you have something much deeper, a deep reason to fight for, makes you like a really tough fighter.
Yeah, I know.
Really tough fighter.
Yeah. It's the same like for like that's why I say like a lot of like you need to go to the poor areas. I think Mike Tyson talks about all the time. You need the poor neighborhoods. That's where the best fighters come from because you need some of that suffering. You need whatever is there, like the essence of like I want to be better. I want to do more. Here's what I'm representing.
Yeah.
Lives in that area. That's Mexican fighters. You get like
Yeah.
you get like the. I mean, in America was a lot of like the early on fighters coming from like the hoods and the slums. Like these are where people are coming out. You start to see like guys like Francis Ngannou who like training for like I don't know, is it 5 or 6 years, and he's UFC champion, and he comes from a hard place. So there's something about that like makes it's like a breeding ground for fighters, right? And it's powerful because you feel like you represent better, and it's like when people from your town, I'm sure when they see you, they have pride. Like, yeah,
I
you
hope
heard of
so.
Shir?
I hope so. I remember when I was in my hometown living with my mom and I have two young siblings as well,
Yeah.
one brother and one sister. Every time I went for a competition and come back home, I remember how my young siblings were so
Yeah.
overwhelmed. How can you do that?
Yeah.
And a lot of teenagers in my hometown are really some of them are in really bad places. If it's drugs, violence, a lot of
Yeah, I understand.
yeah. So if I can do anything to make them have a little hope, that would be amazing. But it's not like that. It's harder. I think it's much harder.
Yeah. No, I understand
To
that.
give someone hope, someone who comes from a really
Yeah.
yeah.
It's interesting because I understand, I think, to a degree, but from what I understand about like whatever is happening over there politically and like government wise, that's something that I can't comprehend. I understand kind of coming from poor, poor areas. Like I have family that their house is like cardboard and sticks. I have family
Yeah,
like that, and I also live in America, so I understand like the poor and like grinding and like
yeah,
having, and just taking pride and working hard
yeah,
and that kind of thing. But I think there's something a little bit different about the situation that you come from, and there's a lot more for you to fight for.
yeah. When I think about my family and the reason I fight, I'm sure there's a lot of reason to fight. It's not just one reason,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think the main thing that drive me is really to make the life of my family better.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and yeah, give my younger sibling hope
Yeah.
so they can do same. Not not even sport, like whatever they want to.
Yes.
They can make a better future. They don't have
Yeah.
to stay the same place they are,
Yes.
and they don't have to go to bad places.
Yes.
So yeah, when I'm fighting and doing things that I want and doing better things and earning money.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think yeah, I want to have to be like a role model to my
Yes.
siblings
Perfect.
and help my mom.
Yeah.
Sure, I think this is the first thing that I want to do is help my mom
Yeah.
with money. Unfortunately, money is like running the
Yeah.
war and it's
Yeah.
ruling everything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. So we want to move a little bit more swing it back into your travels now. So
Oh,
with in Israel, would you say you're pretty well known in the amateur kickboxing scene?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, very much like as I said, Israel is a small country,
Hmm.
so everyone kind of know each other, and especially in the sports world and the fighting world,
Hmm.
everyone is knowing each other. Everyone is like um, supporting each other,
Yeah.
which is really nice.
Yeah.
Everyone is like kind of friends in the
Yeah.
sport.
So how did you get from Israel competing in the European circuit, go to the World Games? When did you come to Thailand for the first time?
First time I came to Thailand was for a kind of break after World Games. It
Mm,
was last year on uh, September, September I think.
okay.
Um, the World Games were on July last year.
Yes.
Well, almost 1 year actually.
Yeah.
So I remember the road to the World Games. It was so intense. It was like almost 1 year of preparation and no life.
Mm,
Didn't
yeah.
see my family. I train in a gym in a different city, so I moved to
Mm,
live alone. For 3 years almost, I lived alone. I rent a house, and yeah, so it was 1 year. I didn't see my family. Only prepared for the World Games, and I remember when it over uh, on July, and I won. I was shocked, and I was so happy
mhm,
and amazed. And now I can finally like take a break, a
mhm,
little break. And then I came to Thailand, and I remember that I wanted to visit Fairtex
mhm,
because I really loved STEM.
mhm.
I'm a fan.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, I want to try to go there sometime to see, to try it, and to try Muay Thai, which is completely new sport for me."
Yeah.
And I remember going to Pattaya after the World Games, and of course I couldn't take a vacation, so I come training,
Yeah.
and I loved it so much. I loved the environment, and the people were so welcoming.
Mhm.
And yeah, I remember that I told myself after the World Games, I think that's my peak in kickboxing. I want to try something new now.
Mhm.
And I'm kind of fan of adventures
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
like this. So
Yeah.
I came to Thailand on September, and I think for 2 weeks, and I went back home, and it just I kept thinking about it in my mind. Oh my god, it was so good. I want to go back. I want to do it. And then I came back, I think half year after, like almost half year, last
Hmm.
November.
Okay.
And ever since then I just stayed,
Yeah.
and I got sponsored, so it's really a big relief for me.
Yeah.
So I'm planning to stay as much as I can.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So do you work in Israel while on top of you? So you have a job and you train, or how does that work for you back home?
Usually you have to work because it's life in Israel not that simple.
Yeah.
You don't get uh, paid a lot of paid,
Hmm.
and you have to pay, rent or
Yeah. Yeah.
anything.
Right.
So usually you have to work while you're training as well.
Yeah.
But I remembered because I was a elite athlete
Hmm.
in Israel, so I got paid every month
Oh
by
wow.
the yeah. Especially after winning the World Games, and even before winning the World Games, all the preparation, the government kind of supported me.
Wow. That's
Yeah, so
awesome.
I can go. Yeah, so I can go and be relaxed and don't think about money and stuff like this.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah,
So you're a career fighter and the government supports
support.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
in Israel, yeah, you get support in sports if you're like in elite level and you
Mm,
have some kind of big event coming.
wow.
Yeah, and you need the support. So if you have the right, I don't know, how do I say that? The right organizations
Hmm.
behind you,
Hmm.
that you can be supported very well.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is freaking sick.
yeah.
So outside of the government support, do you have sponsorships back home for you?
No, no, actually, no.
Just
Only the
government
government.
help.
Yeah,
Oh, that's crazy.
yeah,
That is,
yeah.
man, we don't get anything. You know what's
Mm.
funny is so I have a sponsor and he talks about this all the time where IFMA or like the
If
people or the Team USA like
yeah,
they do fundraising all the time.
yeah,
And they're like, "Oh, help our athletes get there, help our coaches get there." But the athletes pay their way, so they have to pay to go compete. They don't get any of the money. They're like,
yeah.
where does the money go, dude? You guys are fundraising. We're not getting any of the money. So
Mm,
it's yeah, they fundraise like this organization that hosts the tournaments. Where oh yeah, help the athletes, help the coach, and the, none of the athletes are sponsored. None of the athletes get help.
mm,
They have to you see every athlete fundraising. Hey, buy my shirt. Or hey, take a private lesson with me to help me get to wherever. It's sick that you
mm.
guys get help and that the government supports
Yeah,
your
but a lot of athletes do have to pay. But I mean,
yeah
if you're like an already elite fighter or already European champion,
yeah
so you do get help
yeah
by the kickboxing organization or non-Olympics organization. As I said, if you have the right organization behind you
yeah
and you are already elite fighter,
yeah yeah
then you get help.
yeah
Yeah,
no
but
but
a lot of like people who just start in the way have to pay and to pay and to pay
yeah
until they prove themselves.
yeah I mean that even elite level fighters in America don't get
Mm.
help. Yeah
Oh yeah,
or in
I
other
see.
countries don't get that.
I
I'm saying
see.
so like the people that go like to IFMA, the people that go to like the World Games,
Yeah,
like they had to pay their plane ticket, they had to
yeah.
pay their hotel, they had to pay
Mm.
everything, weight cut, whatever it entailed
Mm.
comes out of their pocket.
Mm.
So it's cool that like you get some support like that
Mm.
because even elite people like it's just nothing, you know. We have to go and get our own sponsors and whatever, but
Maybe also because Israel is
small. Yeah,
small,
that's
very
true.
small, so we try, like the government and the organization try to keep their athletes and to support them. We don't have too much.
Yeah, yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense. That's sick.
yeah.
So coming from Thailand the first time, you only train for 2 weeks, and then you go home. You come back in November, and then how long from November on did it take you to get a fight?
I remember coming in November, training, and I think on December when I already was in good shape, and yeah, I took a really long break after the World Games, so
Mm,
it took me a while to get in shape.
Uh-huh.
I remember on December that I already told Big Boss Mr. Wong that I want to fight.
Yeah.
So whenever he think or can send me a fight, I would love to do it.
Yeah.
And already January he let me fight.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So 1 week after I asked him, 1 month, sorry, 1 month after I asked him, he let me fight.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's sick.
You get sponsored. That doesn't mean that you have to slow down now or be too
complacent.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
That just means you have to work even harder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now you're getting something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to prove that you're right for it.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah. I understand that mentality of like complacency, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good that you say that because in this world there is both shortcomings for fighters and then people who want to sponsor, right? Because this is a deal, this is a partnership. It's less sponsorship. They're giving you something, so they're asking for something in return. And for you, you work hard anyways, so that's not that hard for you to uphold your end of the bargain. But it's good that you think of like, okay, I'm gonna take this seriously. Like I'm sponsored. Like I'm gonna make sure I work hard to make sure that this is a fulfilling for both of us.
Because everyone can be replaced, right? And if you don't work enough, you're gonna get kicked out, and they just replace you with someone who really wants it.
Yeah.
So you have to work hard, even harder after you get the help that you want.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's good because some people just have to fight so hard to be seen, and then once you were seen, you're like, told you, all right, here we go, ready to work. You know, that's sick, and it's good that you're at Fairtex. You know, there's a lot of opportunities, and like the girls team is strong at Fairtex. Yeah, the female fight team is crazy. Mentality. All right, so I want to talk about your fight mentality because I've seen you in the gym and you're 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 very about your business. Like you work very hard, but you're also pretty goofy and silly in between rounds, like messing around, you know, like with the crew, like you're very like you got very good energy,
Yeah.
you know, in between rounds, or when you're like and like resting or doing bag work or stuff, you know, there's like jokes, there's conversation, so you're very lighthearted. So you're a very warm person, and then when you fight, it's like I'm mean now. So what is your mentality going in for fights? Like what preparation is that for you? Like do you get nervous? You know, are you someone that's just like, all right, time to work, all right? Like what is your fight mentality walking into fights?
That's a really good question. Yeah, in training, first of all, I think I wasn't always like that, like you said, very goofy between rounds and silly and having fun.
Yeah.
I wasn't like that. I think here it's just because the people, it makes you be so free and relaxed and happy. I think it depends on the people around you. So yeah, if you're around very cool people and fun people, then yeah, makes you be like that. But in fight, I think I do a lot of meditation before fights. That's something that with me already more than 1 year, maybe 2 years. Um, I love to relax before fight. Don't think too much about what I'm gonna do. Yeah, listen to some kind of music that I love.
Yeah.
Usually it's just background music, no lyrics.
Okay.
Relax, breathing. I do a lot of breathing exercises, and yeah, I think the aggression and the going all in, it's something that I always had in my character, so I don't need to prepare myself for it. It's kind of natural.
I like that.
Yeah, some people have it like natural, like you were born with some kind of aggression, all in personality.
Yeah.
So I do think I have it, but before fight, I know that I want to win no matter what. I want to win, and try to relax and meditate a lot and breathe exercises
Yeah.
and listen to the people who with me, like my coaches
Right.
or friends who come to support. I do listen to advices,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Nice. Well, do you get nervous before fights? Is that why you do the meditation,
Mm,
and is that why you do like the
yeah,
breathing stuff? Yeah.
get nervous, but not kind of like panic nervous,
Yeah.
just a little bit excitement,
Hmm.
the flowers and the
Yes.
heartbeats.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but it also good
The
because
flowers and heartbeat. That's
yeah,
cute.
yeah.
Right.
Oh no, no flowers, butterflies.
I was like
Change
flowers.
it.
I was like,
No
wow, you
flower.
were fighting against flowers and
No, no.
rainbows and sunshine. Yes, I understand.
Oh my god, that would be funny.
Yeah,
I mean the butterflies before in your stomach.
yeah.
So yeah, I do get a little excited,
Hmm.
but it's also good because it makes me more focused than usual. I'm
Hmm.
more focused and I'm in my own bubble,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
So I don't hear background noises. I just with myself, with the people around me who speak with me,
yeah.
and yeah, very focused. So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
cool. It's good that you have that. Like, I like that you said, like, I already have it. Like, I don't need to work for it. It's just calming your mind sometimes, so you don't like get too excited or get
too
too
much.
nervous. Yeah,
Yeah,
right. But you already have that. Like, okay, yeah, like whatever it is, that thing that people talk about, that with that aggression, that like fighter spirit, that heart, you already
hmm
got it. You're like, I got it. All right, it's just time to perform.
yeah.
That's
Sometimes I need
cool.
to slow it down a
Yeah,
little.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I understand
too
that.
much.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I mean, it's good. Like, I mean, for myself, I had that. I have the same thing you're talking like that you're talking about. Like, I know I got it, so it's just like when I get in the ring, I'll be fine, you know.
Yeah.
But my very first fight, I got beat up bad. I got like bloody. I was 16. I fought a 26-year-old, and in small gloves,
Oh,
MMA. So it was 4-ounce gloves, mouthpiece, and a cup. And for your first fight, they shouldn't let you do that, eh? But this is back in the day, like in 2013. So 2012, 2013, and and I got beat up bad. And I remember going in there and I was like patient, like I didn't want to hurt him too much. I was like too nice. But I remember seeing my mom cry after. And my mom was like very tough love. You know, they're not like, oh yeah, mom, my baby, are you okay? Like it's a
yeah,
very like tough love. But that was the first time she dropped the tough love act and was just like worried about me. And I remember like the tears, just the worry. And after that, I was like, okay, no more of this. This next one, I'm gonna come out and make sure I hit down so I don't see my mom like cry
oh,
again, you know. So every time after that, I've never had that problem again where it's like a slow start where I'm like, oh. I've been like, boom about it. You know, it took a loss and it took a
yeah,
beating to get it drilled into me. But after that, I had that same like, oh, this is it. This is fun. All right, this is what we're gonna do. Forward pressure. We're gonna fight
yeah,
somebody and do the thing. I understand having that because it's hard for me to explain it to somebody, right? Because a common question that I get asked like in DMs and when I do the Ask Me Anythings on Instagram,
mm,
people ask, "What is your fight mentality? I'm so nervous," or like, "How do you build that like whatever it is that you just described?
hmm
You know, how do you get that?" And I mean, I'm sure there's some things you can do to develop it, but there is some people that just have it.
yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I think some people, I don't know if some people born with it or some people have to go through some kind of specific childhood to become
Hmm.
that that kind of person.
Yeah.
I know that some people don't have it and have to work on it. I don't say that if you don't have it, you don't have it. Of course, I believe that you can work and teach your mind,
Hmm.
and fake it until you make it, or
Yeah.
fake it until you become it.
Hmm.
And some people have to work a little more on the mental level. Some people have to work a little less because they already have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think that mental training and preparation, like mentally preparation before fights, is for everyone, no matter if you have that aggression or not. You always have to come prepared for
Hmm.
the fight in the mental level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Thank you.
that's totally understandable. And again, for me, I'm asking, and I like what you said. I have it because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the conversations that I have when I talk about fight mentality, people have had to build it,
Yeah.
or they do things to like, oh, this is how I did it, slowly, slowly, and I just don't have that in myself to explain it
Mm-hmm.
because I have the same thing that you're
You have
talking
it.
about. Like, yeah, everybody I'm sure does
Mm-hmm.
it,
Yeah.
meditations, breath work, right? Because it's what every
Yeah.
good fighter should do,
I
calm the
would
mind.
say that if some people have to build it and they don't have it, I would uh, question myself. Why did I train all this time? What
Hmm.
drive me?
Hmm.
What motivate me? Why do I want to win? Like, question yourself all the time. Why you do it? Why you did it?
Hmm.
And before you go into the ring, just remember why you're doing it.
Hmm.
So I think that's what should drive you, right?
Yeah,
Like the reason you're doing it.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree
Yeah.
100%. But yeah, that's cool. A fellow just got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always save the fun questions for last. Um, but how is it for you as a girl? Um, this is always I ask these questions. I ask these questions because for me, when I was coming up as a fighter, I was like, oh, fighters are cool, fighters are tough, and like
Yeah.
everyone wants to be a fighter, right? And then when now that when I started fighting, I realized it didn't change me 100%. I'm like at the end of the day, I'm still me. So I don't become like Superman because I know how to fight, right?
Yeah.
And there's pros and cons to once you have this as a career fighter, right? And
Yeah.
you're well known for this back home. You're well known for this here now. You're starting to make a name for yourself on the Thailand circuit. So what is it like for you being in like a male dominated sport as a female? Is this something that crosses your mind, or are you just like, all right, this is normal?
It did cross my mind because I remember when I just started training, I was I think the only girl,
Mm,
and after that, after when I came, yeah, a few more girls came to training, but I remember that naturally, my personality was aggressive,
yeah,
like sometimes when we were when I was at school and we were playing something with a ball, some kind of catching
yeah,
games, I remember like throwing the ball too hard with the girls and they were all just yelling at me, why are you throwing it so hard? And I
yeah,
was like, I was just throwing, I don't know.
yeah.
Like my natural character was a bit more aggressive,
Hmm.
and these days that I see that it's natural, and there are a lot of girls like me that
Hmm.
are naturally
Yeah,
more aggressive, so it makes me feel so much better.
yeah,
I'm not different. There are a lot of aggressive girls.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I remember being in the kickboxing classes working only with the boys, because the other girl were too soft or gentle, which is made me feel a little bit bad. Why I'm so aggressive? What's wrong with me?
Hmm.
But after I remember that after winning my, I think, first fight,
Hmm.
I was happy to be aggressive.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
uh,
No, I understand that for
yeah,
sure. Something I forgot to ask earlier is you said that you didn't grow up with a lot of money, right? So
yeah.
and so how did you get into kickboxing originally?
Yeah, so I said I came from a
Yeah,
poor family and poor hometown.
yeah,
We didn't have much choices,
yeah.
and I remember that my big brother, he did boxing in some really simple and nice gym, small gym in my hometown, and the trainer, he didn't charge people who couldn't afford. He
Hmm.
didn't charge, maybe just something very
Hmm.
very small.
Yeah.
He was very thoughtful about it, and because most of the teenagers that go to this boxing gym
Hmm.
couldn't afford it, they all
Yeah.
come from bad backgrounds,
Hmm.
so the teacher just didn't take money. He knew that the people who come to the boxing gym can't afford that.
Yeah.
They come from poor families or stuff like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I started.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Good people.
Yeah.
Some I know this quote that says, sometimes miracles are just uh, good people with kind heart, something like this. So
Yeah.
I can say that about him.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you just started because someone was willing to help. That was it.
Yeah, he
Wow.
just because he knew that these kids who come to the boxing gym,
Yeah.
they need it.
Yeah.
They need it, and I won't let money make them not coming here and
Yeah.
training. You know.
Yeah. Still willing to give equal opportunity for people who even
Yeah,
who can't afford it. Wow.
yeah,
That's powerful. And I look look where you are now. That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, a sponsored Fairtex fighter
Oh
fighting
my
on some big
God,
tournaments.
it's crazy.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. If that's like a true
But
testimony to
it's just
yeah.
good people, you see.
Yeah.
It's just good people that make you. You're not doing it alone. It's good people that help you to get what you want. If I was here, not sponsored yet, I'm sure it was much harder for me. But
Hmm.
Mr. Wong, he's a good person
Yeah.
who want to help me
Yeah.
to get the place that I want to get.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so if you have good people around you, yeah, you can go far.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. So now with all the success that you're having in the fighting world, and as you're getting like a little bit of notoriety, coming up through the ranks, DMs just going crazy for you, like
DMs, but DMs.
DMs, like direct message on Instagram, or they're just
Oh
people
no, no,
trying saying
no,
share,
no,
share fan
my
club,
no, 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 no. It's oh my God, no.
many suitors coming up to you after
No.
fights.
In my DMs on Instagram, it's just my friends.
Yeah.
Seriously, just my friends.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, friends from Israel, friends from here
Hmm.
in Pattaya, and maybe sometimes one person or two people who watch my fight and want to congratulate or to
Take you out.
yeah to say something nice.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not like
Yeah.
not that famous yet.
Yeah. Well, do you find it like, do you find it? Because for me, again, these questions, like, whenever I was looking up, I was like, man, I bet everyone up there like has a good time and every life is perfect, right? With fighting. So have you found it like difficult to be like dating as a fighter?
Dating?
Dating? Yeah.
No, I actually didn't date that much. I didn't have
Yeah.
like something serious,
Yeah.
especially not in the last years
Yeah.
when I was focusing on the World Games and then
Mhm.
coming here to Thailand. Yeah, I didn't have the chance.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's more difficult because you have things to
It's
focus on.
more
Yeah. Yeah.
difficult. I think it's more difficult because if you date someone who don't get you, don't do it as
Hmm.
well, so you might get a lot of conflict between you two, and
Hmm.
they will be like, "Oh, you don't have time for me."
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's much harder for fighters to date.
Yeah.
Maybe you need someone who is also in this world,
Yeah.
or yeah.
No, I totally get that. Yeah, it's funny.
But I'm not experienced in dating, so
Yeah,
I don't have much to say about
yeah.
it.
No, I mean,
Sorry.
no. That's actually why I wanted to talk about it. Is because
Yeah,
you've been so focused on this on
yeah,
this on this sport, on achieving your goals,
yeah.
and along the way, like, do you think like guys find you like intimidating because of the career that you chose
Uh,
in? Like,
Maybe,
yeah.
maybe this is why a lot of people, like a lot of boys, don't talk to me too much. So yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's like you're intimidating them or something.
I hope not.
Nah.
I don't want to, but
This is what
yeah.
happens.
But yeah, I no, you know what? I don't care because I'm not looking for it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When it comes, it comes.
Yeah,
So
like if it happens, it happens. I
yeah,
got you. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. No, it's funny. Like, I was talking. Like, I met my girlfriend in the gym, and like, not that I
yeah,
was looking. We neither of us were looking for
yeah.
like a relationship. Like, Ellis said something similar. Like, I met my girlfriend in the gym, but I think like when you're going about it the way you do, it happens a lot easier because I've been around spaces where people are like, go to a gym because you're gonna meet so many people, you're gonna be able to date, and you're gonna be so. I'm like, that's the last place, in my opinion, the last place you should be trying to date. If it happens, great. But it's
Yeah,
not like I want to go and oh, found someone I like, I'm gonna go and try to date them now. It's
yeah.
like your training partners, so it can be a little complex. It's not like, hey, I like you, you want to go out. It's like, hey, you have to worry for the training environment. Are things gonna be awkward? How are they gonna handle it? Are you guys both mature enough to if it happens and then break up to train in the same space. There's always like
Yeah.
little factors like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always interesting for me to ask, to see what the dating perspectives are like. Because for me, that consumed a lot of my life. There's points in my life where that consumed me, where I was like, oh, okay, I just want to date. And there's other times where I was like, all right, focus on this, not dating, years on end. Just focus on fighting and try and do the thing.
Yeah, I think, as I said, I'm not very experienced in it, but in my opinion, I think that when you're not looking for it and you're not coming in intention to meet someone, it comes like it's the most natural way
Yeah.
to meet someone.
Yeah.
You're not coming in intention to meet the lover of your life right
Yeah.
now or your partner.
Yeah.
But you come and you're both training, and sometimes
Yeah.
it can happen.
Yeah,
So
just
yeah.
the stars align.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I get that. No, for sure. And then, sorry. Do you think you could date someone that wasn't a fighter? Like you are a girl who can beat up most guys. You're an elite level fighter.
Yeah, I think eventually when I will want to date someone, I won't like judge him by his career, like if he's a fighter or not a fighter. I think what's more important is his character, if he's respecting, if he's been yeah. I don't think that being a fighter is the thing that will eventually make me decide if I will date him or not.
Okay, okay.
I think more important if he's a good person.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
could totally date someone who isn't a fighter. That wouldn't
If
bother
it will
you.
be okay with my life schedule,
Yeah, yeah,
then
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think it will happen ever.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
hard to find someone
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
I understand.
Yeah.
For COVID, nobody was training,
Yeah.
and
Maybe I will stay single with like 40 cats.
kind of yeah, yeah.
That's also fine.
Yeah, I had the same plan, but with dogs, because I'm allergic to
Yeah.
cats.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would say dogs, but like I think the stereotype is with the cats, right?
Yeah, that stereotype was with the cats.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right, you're gonna be crazy cat lady.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think it'll take long. It's so confusing. It's confusing because sometimes like you're so like, oh yeah, I'll do like whatever, but I think it's interesting talking to females because guys can be intimidated by that. Like I have friends, like be like, dude, I don't know, like she can beat me up. Like I've been in spaces where there's a guy
I
that
know for
intimidated.
sure. You know what I can tell you? As I said, I'm not interested in dating right now at all. But if one day I will want to, I hope that my like the guy that I will date won't be afraid that I will beat him up.
Yeah.
I hope he will be okay with that.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
I've seen a lot of like the Instagram videos where it's like bad pickup lines that like female fighters will post will be like, so what do you do? Like I'm an MMA fighter. It's like, oh good, I needed a bodyguard. It's like a guy will say like, good, I needed a bodyguard. Or like just like really bad, like just like, oh you're a fighter, like I'm scared, so I'm gonna try to say something that's not funny.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
it's always interesting for me to hear the female perspective of like the weird things that guys will do to like get your attention or something. But it's interesting. I'm a little suspicious that the DMs aren't going crazy, but I'll take your word for it.
It's not. It's not. I wish, but it's not.
Yeah.
I think that I have a really long way to get there. A really long way.
Really?
Yeah.
DMs go crazy?
To
be your goal.
To be like a famous or like that famous that my DM go crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think you're too far off with the way your career is going right now.
It's nice for you to think it. Yeah, it's real nice of you to think it, but I think but that's good, right? Because if you feel like you have a long way, that means that you're willing to learn.
Yeah.
And you're not staying in the same place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's I was talking to Ellis about this on the last episode, and he was saying I was telling him like he kind of said something that had to do with like his religion helps him not buy the hype. The thing that makes a lot of fighters like fall, like the fall of all the fighters, is when they start to believe everything that people tell them. That's when they're like, okay, oh, you're the greatest, you're this, you don't need to work, and then it's like, yeah, I don't need to work, I'm the greatest, whatever. And then that's when the downfall happens.
Yeah.
So if you still have this mentality of like, I have so much to work on, that is what you need to get to the top. Not only get to the top, but stay at the top. if
Always.
you're the best in the world or whatever, you know, if like when that day comes, you have to keep that same mentality. I have this to work on. You have to stay so hard. Like if you have that, like, man, I already beat everybody. I'm chilling. Like I'm
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
That's when like things start to go
yeah.
downhill. You start to see the
Like
fall.
stay student all the time. Stay student.
Yeah.
You always have to learn from people around you.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we didn't talk about? I feel like we hit a lot of good topics here. Is there
Yeah.
anything that we didn't talk about that you would like to talk about before we?
I'm not sure unless you have something on your mind that you
No,
want.
well,
Then
no.
yeah.
I just it's like if there's anything you're like, oh, check out my next fight or something, or you know,
No,
anything that
we
we
can
haven't talked
say
about that you're
yeah. I
talking about
fight
it.
next month.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah.
can say
So
that.
okay.
Wait. No, I don't think so.
All right, all
Yeah.
right. So all right, Shir, thank you for being here.
Thank you so
Where
much.
can people find you? Like what social medias? You know, do your plug in right now.
Oh, well, I'm not very social media person.
Oh,
I don't post too much.
mm.
So if you want to find me, come to
Yeah,
Fairtex. Come
yeah,
to
yeah,
Fairtex.
yeah, yeah.
That's where I'm the most. But yeah, I do have Instagram. Oh, well, again, I don't post too much, but I do have Instagram.
But do you post your fights and stuff like that?
Oh,
That yeah,
facts.
yeah, yeah. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
So
I
people
post
can
like
keep up with you. Yeah,
important and main things I post. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
people can.
Yeah. So where can people follow you
And
to
you
keep up
can
with your
send me
fights?
DM, so
Yeah.
then my DM will be much.
You heard it. All right, there's someone that actually wants you to go in the DMs.
It's empty, seriously. Just kidding, no.
This is the clip. This is the clip right here. Sheer wants you to go in her
Oh
DMs, guys. Go
no,
hit the DMs.
I don't want to sound desperate,
Yeah.
okay? I do have friends.
Yeah.
Just make sure.
Yeah. All right.
Alright, yeah, I do have
All
Instagram.
right. So and then what's your handle and
What?
your at Instagram name?
It's sheer C and how you call this
Underscore.
thing? Yeah.
Sheer underscore C.
No, sheer C underscore.
Oh, Sheer C underscore. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So if you guys want to keep up with Sheer, you can follow her on Instagram at Sheer C underscore.
Sure.
Next fight is July 15.
Yep.
If you guys want, go check out her fights on YouTube. And yeah, thanks for being here, Sheer. It's
Thank
been
you
a lot
so
of fun.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, guys. See you on the next one.